Do you ever notice yourself kind of avoiding situations because you don't want people to see you and you feel uncomfortable being around others or in particular situations? Or you find yourself beating yourself up after doing something out of fear that others might notice? These are a few examples of toxic shame when we go beyond looking and assessing our behaviors and the things that we do to literally this sense of self-disgust, self-hate, and toxic shame. Today, I want to talk to you about some ground principles around that and then walk you through an EFT tapping session to release that toxic shame so that you can have more self-compassion and love for yourself. Let's get started. A few things that I want to note, and you can learn more looking at my series on shame, releasing the shackles of shame. The first thing I want to mention before we get into the tapping is that shame really creates this sense of feeling worthless and not good enough. And most often it happens from how we were treated when we were young. And the things that we were told, it could have been gaslighting, or it could have just been direct negative comments about us that actually weren't true. And so what happens is we internalize that and then we start to believe it and we turn inward and we start to attack ourselves. And so often the second thing I want to mention is that people get confused between shame and guilt. And guilt is a useful tool because it allows us to kind of check in and gauge where we are with our ethics, our morals, our values, and treating ourselves and others with respect. So for example, you might have done something wrong where you reacted and maybe raised your voice with someone, okay? That's the gauge. Oh, I feel a little guilty because I wasn't really called for me to be like that, okay? But you're not beating yourself up. You're just acknowledging what you did and taking some steps to address it and take responsibility. Whereas shame, you're a bad person. That's how you feel, that's how you think. And it's this sense that you're not enough, that you're not good enough, you don't have this confidence, and it's the way you see yourself, right? As opposed to just seeing a behavior and an action, something to be accepted or shifted. The last thing I want to mention about shame, specifically toxic shame, is that it shows up like anger, withdrawal, things like self-disgust, and even harmful behaviors. So think about it. Shame is such a heavy, heavy feeling, and it's not comfortable, and it can be quite extreme. And if you're feeling that, often people will do things like maybe drink, do drugs, or eat to escape feeling those intense emotions, which then causes further harm. It creates other behaviors that create more disasters in your life, and then it just creates this vicious downward spiral. So before we begin, I want to invite you to just be open to the statements. You never have to say exactly what I'm saying. You can just listen. Just by doing the tapping alone helps shift things. I want you to really just allow yourself to tune into your body, tune into your breath, and feel while you're doing these statements. Because as we begin with ones that are a little more intense, we shift to ones that are a little more positive. And so you will be saying a statement that might be quite intense for you, and then it will be followed by, and it's okay to feel that way. And the reason that we do this is because once you accept an emotion and you name it and you witness it and you observe it, that's what allows you to set it free. If we avoid connecting with it and we shove it away, it's not going to go away. It's going to fester and it's going to stay stuck inside of you. Instead of being in this flow where you feel an emotion, you acknowledge it and you release it, and having that nice flow of balance, right? As opposed to accumulating an intense amount of negative emotions that hold you down. The last thing that I want to mention is feel free to change the words at any point. If you want to change a phrase or change a word, there's always that pause between statements where you have the freedom to do that. So enjoy, and I hope that this helps you release the shackles of shame that you might be experiencing. So we're going to begin here. I often tell myself that I'm not good enough. I'm always making mistakes, and I feel horrible, as if I can't do anything about it. And even though I feel this way, it's okay. Top of the eyes. Nobody likes me. I'm not good enough for anyone. This is how I feel. Breath, and that's okay. I don't love myself. I feel like I'm unlovable. I can't seem to do anything right. Everything I do is wrong. It's always my fault. Anytime something goes wrong, it's my fault. I feel humiliated, ashamed, and worthless. It's exhausting feeling this way. I'm tired of feeling this way. I don't want to feel this way anymore. I avoid being around people. I avoid certain situations. I avoid being in the world because I'm afraid of being ashamed and shamed further by others. This makes it really hard for me to make healthy choices. I find it hard to take care of myself. I just want to hide from the world and others and feel safe. Deep breath. I acknowledge that I feel this way, and that's okay. Because I'm learning bit by bit to release this shame. I'm learning bit by bit that it's not true. I'm learning that this shame doesn't belong to me. I'm learning that this shame was dumped on me because others didn't want to take responsibility for their shame. I am a good person with good intentions. I want the best for myself and others. I'm learning to find ways to connect with my power. I'm learning to find ways to connect with my inner spirit. I'm learning to find ways to have self-compassion, joy, and love. Big deep breath. I connect deep within me and find that light that once shined. I expand this kind, loving, powerful light inside of me. I expand it throughout my whole body. I allow myself to receive this powerful energy, this powerful light, and embrace it as part of me. I love and approve of myself as I am. I am learning to connect with all parts of me with love and compassion, and let go of the fear that keeps me small and hiding from the world. I am now committed to loving myself. I am a good enough person. What I do is good enough. I have many talents, gifts, and abilities. I am learning to shine and show these talents, gifts, and abilities. I no longer am afraid of making mistakes. I allow myself to make mistakes so that I can grow and develop skills that help me shine. I refuse to trash myself. I refuse to say negative things about myself. I refuse to hate myself and to feel complete humiliation for who I am. Because I am a good person. This allows me to transfer back the shame that was wrongfully put on me and get back into my power and who I really am. Big deep breath. I now acknowledge that it wasn't my fault. I acknowledge that I didn't do anything wrong. I was a child and I was doing the best I could. I am still doing the best that I can. I release this shame and replace it with love, self-compassion, and confidence. And I now refuse to attack myself the way others attacked me in the past. I can now take responsibility when needed without belittling myself and simply acknowledging my actions and what needs to change. I can now celebrate my small wins and allow myself to feel confident to be in my power without being afraid of what others might say. I allow myself to feel this confidence and shine in the world with a gentle humbleness, kindness, and love. Big deep breath. Just see how you're feeling in the body now compared to when you started. On that scale of 1 to 10, is the intensity decreased? Do you feel a shift anywhere? Do you feel a release of tension that might have been there before? It's really great to follow this by a meditation, 5-10 minutes, of just observing what you notice in the body and just being present with it and being a companion to it and just sitting next to what is coming up and then naming it and checking to see if it matches and allowing that energy and that felt sense to move and shift. That will take it a step further to release anything that has come up and retrain your body and your nervous system that you're safe now and that you can be yourself and that it's okay to feel the way you feel. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Tanya, and just to quickly recap, thank you so much for watching. I hope that helped. Just to recap, shame can really destroy your ability to be yourself, to shine in the world, and to gauge accurately when you've done something that you need to address and take responsibility for, and when you're completely just destroying yourself with self-hate and negative thinking about yourself. And by doing exercises like this, as well as things that, will help you love yourself more, self-compassion exercises, check out my video series on shame. I give you some steps on how you can release it and different exercises that you can do. So stay tuned for the next EFT tapping video inspired by Pete Walker's 14 inner critic attacks, and see you next time.